It does. Well, my thing started recording on its own, so here we go. All right. My car smells like cheese curds.
Fresh.
No, not at all. Because it smelled good on the way here.
It smells awful.
It does. Well, we'll put the window
I just
down.
need a little air. I'm going to die. Okay, but I don't think that's cheese curds. That smells like Brussels sprouts or death.
It's not me.
Child safety lock has imprisoned us.
So here we are.
Here we are.
It's
face to
Lana,
face.
and it's Dave, and it's Alex. Or I'm sorry, Heather.
I feel so bad.
It's okay.
Lana is a little drunk and called Alex Heather.
I feel horrible.
That's fine, whatever.
I didn't even have a girlfriend. Like, he shows up tonight with a girlfriend. And I'm like, I would have gotten her a ticket. But
my friend.
Newt doesn't tell you anything. He just shows up suddenly. Like, I have a 3-year-old. Okay.
I brought a woman and my son.
Yes.
All right, so we went to see Funhouse.
Yes, the original
Funhouse
one from 1981.
From 1981.
Because the Regal Theaters are doing 31 days of Screams or whatever, and they're going to show a classic horror movie every day in October.
Are they doing every day?
Every day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I fucking told you that. Like,
I thought it was like once a week they were doing like a different genre.
Every fucking day.
Oh, all right.
31 movies. That's why I'm trying to get you in here.
31 days, 31 movies. When did that happen? Oh, all right.
They're doing Friday the 13th, part 3 in 3D this Friday. If you check it on Regal. They're doing Creature from the Black Lagoon in 4DX.
That's
3D.
Cool. That's exciting.
They're showing Halloween 3, Rosemary's Baby, Silver Bullet, New Nightmare. Some of the stuff that you don't get to see as much, like New Nightmare. Nobody ever fucking shows that movie. I love that movie.
Oh, me too. And
that was the one everybody hated. Like,
we know Miko well.
Yeah.
Like Fallon and I are good friends with Miko Hughes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think New Nightmare is like the Halloween 3 of the Nightmare on Elm Street series because everybody's mad. They're like, it wasn't a real Nightmare on Elm Street.
And then when Insidious came out, I was like, it's kind of the same thing. That and it was like that and Poltergeist 2 like meshed together into one movie. Insidious.
I never really thought about it that way.
Think about it, yeah. Because it even ends in like the.
Alex, Dave.
Heather, what do you think? Have you ever seen that one, Heather?
I accidentally called his. I got drunk. I thought her name was Heather by accident because we were in a restaurant where it was really loud when he introduced her, and I didn't. I feel horrible.
It's fine. Okay. It's a revolving door of women who come and go. I forget their names sometimes.
We're gonna fight.
That's fine. All right, so
because I also said you're with a decent human being, and I want to stay that way, but I called her the wrong name.
Well, that's all right.
All right.
It's because she doesn't have red hair, so you're not used to that.
My own tribe.
Yeah. All right, so Funhouse, 1981.
Yes.
Toby Hooper, with the novelization written by Dean Koontz.
Yes, Dean Kuntz.
Dean
yes,
Kuntz.
Dean Kuntz. There was a guy, when I worked at Barnes & Noble, there was this guy who ordered books all the time. His last name is K-U-N-T-Z, and I called him Kuntz, and he's like, Koontz, Koontz, and get all mad. I'm like, no, Koontz is K-O-O-T-Z.
There was a dude who, when I used to run the Broadway theater, the Pittman Broadway theater, we had a guy who was a reservist for plays, and his name was Pickle Lance.
Wow.
There was also a Hyman Small. When I used to run the overnight at the hotel,
Okay.
her name was Hyman Small. You've never seen this movie before, right, Heather?
No.
Heather, we're addressing you now.
Heather, I feel horrible. Oh my God. And what did you think? I didn't even hear
I
your
thought
first.
it was fantastic.
Great. See, I love her.
It was visually.
Come here, show your beautiful face. She's
We'll
gorgeous.
blur it out.
Like, I can't believe she's dating Newt.
We're
Like,
not dating. Jesus Christ.
Joking, I'm joking. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
No, she's a great person.
That's
Oh my
why
God.
she's dating Newt. She's a great person. But Dave, show your beautiful face.
Hey, babies, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, also, real quick, I ran it this week in the grocery store, and I was in a grocery store. I ran into a fan named Todd, who's a big fan of the show, and I want to give a shout out to him
Hello,
because he
Todd.
recognized us and he loves Newt, and he feels, you know, like he loves the shows. He felt some sympathy for your situation.
Well, yeah.
A really nice guy. And I also want to shout out to my former employee, Anthony DeTillo, who made me this.
I was wondering where you got a Suncoast Video shirt.
So I was the manager there in the late 90s. And I'm still good friends with one of my he was like a teenager
Yeah.
then, you know, and we've stayed friends. Now he's like married with 2 kids and everything, and he made me this shirt.
That's awesome. I got somebody gave me a Sam Eric t-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
I miss the Sam
Yeah.
Erics and the Bud Codes.
I have a have you been in the booth, the projection booth at my theater?
Yes, you took
I
us
have
up
a
there.
I have a Bud Coast sign and a Sam Eric sign up there as
I
well.
don't remember seeing
Yeah,
them. Though. I
they're
remember
on
the
the
Gone with the Wind
fun
poster.
wall, yeah.
There's a Gone with the Wind poster.
An
whose
original.
probably worth like $3 billion.
Yeah.
And, I think you should steal it.
So we
I'm
had
trying to get it.
Suncoast Video when I
You
used
should do like a movie poster. It's like,
it would be like an Ocean's
Jesus
11
Christ,
type
that
thing.
movie, if you adjust back when what's that one, Box Office Mojo was fun, and there was like a thing you could press to adjust
The
what that movie,
inflation.
the inflation.
Yeah.
That's still the highest grossing.
There's like a
movie of
place
all
that
time.
still plays like every week
Mhm.
in like
Yeah.
Georgia or something
It
like
should.
that.
I mean, for years I was like, it looks boring, and then I actually watched it on a big
Oh
screen.
yeah,
I'm like,
no.
Jesus Christ,
When
this
you
is a great movie.
it's one of the, again, you think about like that, like the epicness of it all. Because we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, it's like when you make a movie like that, like it's something that transcends. You know, oh, this director did that. No, like this is so much bigger than that now. Like Gone with the Wind, you know.
You think about all the money they put into like the costumes and just the
And they cut George
sets.
Reeves out of
And
it.
George Reeves, he did have a small role.
He had a small
you
role,
see him
but-
a little bit in the beginning,
But people laughed at the fact that
got-
Superman was in it, so they cut him out.
I don't think he was in Superman. Yet
No,
in the 30s.
but
TV.
but I
Because
think
that movie came out in '39. When did Superman didn't come?
probably
out?
the 50s.
Yeah, because TV wasn't invented.
Oh, well,
yet.
in the Ben
Right?
Aff-
Am I right?
in the Ben Affleck movie, didn't they like laugh that he was on
I didn't
screen,
see
so
the
they
Ben
cut him?
Affleck
Oh,
one, but I'm sure that one's. But wait, we'll do the math.
We'll do the math.
Someone please leave a comment explaining the
Yeah,
timeline of
we
George
don't
Reeves'
understand things.
life.
But this movie, I've always been a huge fan of this movie, mostly for just how sleazy it is. And I always used to get this one, and like there was always this, and like Wes Craven at the time. There was this kind of thing in 80s horror movies where people were just the sleaziest fucking
I miss
disgusting
those
human
days.
beings. Yeah.
I miss those
Yeah.
days. And that's what Toby Hooper just had a real what's our niche or something
Yeah.
for like the sleaziest human beings alive, which Rob Zombie has always wanted to duplicate. And
Yeah.
I do think I will say this about Rob Zombie. I think production value, cinematography, he's great.
Yeah.
Dialogue fucking horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
Stop. Don't ever get somebody else to write your
Charles
movies.
Brake talking about skull fucking and
Yes,
you know.
like, get somebody else
like-
to write your fucking movies, dude, and you just make them look pretty.
Although I would have loved to have seen his Flyers movie.
Oh, you know what?
He was
Sure.
gonna make a because he
About
said
the
it-
Broad Street
yeah,
movie,
they were
sure.
gonna make a because I was like that could be Boogie Nights meets Slapshot,
Yeah,
and that would have been
yeah.
incredible. And actually his idea for the Blob was kind of interesting as well. So you've never seen this before.
No.
You've seen Texas Chainsaw though, right?
Yes.
Same director. And this was that time period where Spielberg wanted Hooper to direct E.T. But you and I were talking about, was it still Night Sky at that point? Because that would
I'm
make more
confused
sense.
because I always read that Spielberg was just hooked on E.T. Like, I have to direct. I remember Night Sky was going to be a horror movie, but then the Twilight Zone accident.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to do horror right now. Like, that fucked him up.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to do E.T. and Poltergeist, but he gave up on Poltergeist because he couldn't do both. And I had heard that he had wanted to stick with E.T. and give Poltergeist to somebody else.
Yeah.
But it could be different. I don't know.
And people always, and that's kind of the thing that always affected Toby Hooper's career was
It
the
ruined
fact
his
that
career.
people say, "Oh, Spielberg directed it," but
Which is
honestly,
a lie.
oh, it's a 100%
Yeah.
lie. Because you watch that movie and you go, and just even watching this movie tonight, it's like there are so many shots that are Toby Hooper shots.
Two people confirmed the liar. Joe Bob,
Yeah.
Briggs, who went on the set. He was like the press that was trying to derail Toby Hooper was there on the one day Steven Spielberg. He was very involved in special effects, but they happened to be there the one day he was on the set, and they were like, "Oh, Steven Spielberg's really directing this." But Oliver Robbins, the child actor, I think they only live in one left.
Yeah.
His name, I think it's Oliver
Yeah,
Robbins.
yep.
I actually have a quote, and I took a picture of it. It's on my phone because I was like, "This is the." He's like Toby Hooper directed this.
Because Zelda Rubinstein said that he was so coked up.
But what the fuck? She
Yeah.
wasn't even a lead in the
I know.
movie. Like, I love her in the movie,
Yeah.
but she wasn't even a big part.
And then I read a thing on this. It was like that apparently on the set of this movie, he drank 12 Cokes a day.
Yes, yes. But I remember seeing old interviews with Joe Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson. They all said it was Toby Hooper.
But it's anybody who was making an Amblin film, and I think you and I have had this conversation before, look at J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams made his entire career just aping Spielberg. You know, anybody who makes an Amblin-style film is making a Spielberg-inspired film. Yeah, if I was Toby Hooper, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to do what Steven Spielberg fucking says, because that's going to be my ticket to not having to work for Canon Films, you know? Although I genuinely love Life Force. Life Force is just a fucking
Canon
crazy
has some great
movie.
fucking movies. And
Chainsaw 2,
yes,
I think is my favorite of this series.
Well, and even they even had some Oscar stuff, The Runaway Train.
Yeah,
you
yep,
know, so they and I love Breakin'. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
but
oh no, me too.
That's
I have a
great
Breakin' 2 poster framed in my kitchen, so
they got them both out under a year.
And
two movies of the same
well, they
season.
released 40 movies in 1 year one time, which is fucking crazy.
You've seen that documentary?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hilarious.
There was the Golden Globes, and then there was the Go-Go Boys was the other one. But I've always been taken with the production value of this movie. The
colors alone are just the way he uses the colors are like really garish.
And that's
like just like bright green with like a really tacky red.
And if you go back and you rewatch Swamp Zombies 2, which you still haven't seen,
yes,
I purposely chose certain scenes to have the color palette of this movie when they're in the monkey's mouth and stuff like that. We designed things to look that way because we shot at Fright Factory, which is a haunted house. I was like, oh fuck, if we're gonna shoot at a place that already has this kind of aesthetic, why don't we make it look like Funhouse, you know?
Right.
And then I was showing you that at the end, all the mannequins came from Sherry Lewis.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I thought he was joking, but then her name pops up.
Yeah.
On the credit. I'm like, she owned all these fucking weird.
Which is
ass-
weird, right?
I always thought her thing was a little weird with the
Lamb
her
chop.
lamb chop,
Yeah.
you know. And I just also found out Dave and I. Say hi, Dave. I feel bad you're all
Hi, Dave.
This week, I know I waited.
You guys are allowed to talk, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
for years and
Heather,
years,
shut up.
I'm like, I gotta watch My Dinner with Andre. I gotta watch My Dinner because I keep hearing about it, and you know, it took 50 years to finally get there. So Dave and I watched the other night, and then I see like it's a Trauma production.
Yeah.
Lloyd Kaufman. I had no idea he fucking produced
Well, I
it.
mean,
I
he
knew Mel Brooks did Elephant Man and shit and The Fly, but I had no idea about
Lloyd Kaufman going back to Rocky. He worked on Rocky.
Really?
Yeah, The Final Countdown.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
Don't say those words. Don't say those words. 'Cause
Yeah, but Lloyd Kaufman was a location manager on the first Rocky movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so yeah, and then he went Sugar Cookies with Lynn Lowry, who I'll be sharing. So cool movie
the
I
Black
have.
Christmas, Lynn Lowry.
No,
which one's Lynn Lowry?
She was in Cat People. She was in The Crazies.
Okay, who's
she's
the
the girl
one
with the
Black
nose.
Christmas who was in Thanksgiving?
Olivia Hussey.
No. I thought that was who's the girl who got killed with the plastic bag?
Oh no, that's not Lynn Lowry.
Who's that?
That's not Lynn Lowry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the actress's name. Actually, it's on her.
Okay, we'll
it's her
find out
Christian
later.
name.
We'll
But
find
yeah,
out later.
I'll be sharing scenes with her and Ken Foray.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I had to get a personal trainer so I can get in shape.
I this is like a very exciting thing, although I can't see any of my friends naked. So
Are you gonna
don't-
oil up your abs?
Yes.
Yeah, so
With like citrus. You ever
so he's
see?
gonna have to get me like the G-rated version.
We'll get you the version that's blocked out.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, today I just decided to go for it and just put my dick on Twitter, so and then it got me banned
Well, I
from
heard you
Twitter.
got banned.
Yeah, so
I'm
whoops.
hoping there's a Japanese cut where it's pixelated.
That would be awesome. Yeah, or it's a tentacle.
Well, wait, I know I'm steering us off.
Yeah, it's all right.
But Funhouse. So I love how it is really sleazy and gross. And you just you leave the theater, you want to watch this movie off you. But I wonder if I don't know too much about Funhouse. I have like a Criterion or one of them things. But I think there's still things you never know that are not on these DVDs.
Yeah.
And how much studio interference? Because this came out in 1981. My voice got real high. So
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson. But
We should go tie.
But how much studio interference was there? Because there are scenes that just go. Toby Hooper's really usually good at a tight kind of story and editing and everything is. And I just feel like there's a story with the younger brother Joey, and Newt
But I was
explained
saying
a
to
little.
you,
He did explain.
they were
some of
shooting this
to
at the same time they were De Palma was shooting Scarface, and something happened with the unions, and they shut down the production union, so they had to just go and shoot whatever they could shoot. And probably because the kid could only work X amount of hours a day, they probably could just get him out there to do. Because when you see the like the hand that grabs him with the Frankenstein guy, you never really see the head or anything like that. So it's probably like they were just like, just throw a fucking person down there and let's just get something today, you know?
Because
So that kid's a scab is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. When he winds up in Jerry Sandusky's fucking trailer later, he had a terrible headache, but I took care of it. Oh God.
the funhouse walked so Scarface could run.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Scarface didn't have any lingering issues with Tony, one of Tony's 12,000 illegitimate
Can't even give me a baby.
brothers or sisters walking around Miami going, where is he? You know? Yeah. So I feel like, and I also know in 1981, after, I don't even get, this is so the way our world works, but after John Lennon was killed, suddenly there was this thing where the government was like, crack down on violence, which had nothing to do with John Lennon's murder. But I know the fan, they had to, when the trailer came out, they had to put a disclaimer on it. And the most famous story, I think, is My Bloody Valentine. Where they had to, they cut out all those scenes, and thank God somebody saved in a garage somewhere, and then they were put back in the movie.
Because that was from that, like, Halloween came out in what, 76?
Halloween?
Yeah.
Which Halloween?
The original Halloween was 76?
78.
78? So from 78 to 80 was Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street was 84, but that was kind of the postmodern.
Yeah.
Because you had that 80, 81, 82 was kind of the mecca of slasher movies. And this one, while it has some of the aesthetics of those types of movies, and they want the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy to do that, this does feel more, almost more European, almost. It almost has more of like an Amicus kind of vibe to it, where instead of it
What's
being
that mean?
the British horror company that wasn't Hammer.
Okay.
They
I
would
didn't even know who they were.
It was more of like it was like, we want to do Hitchcock, but we want to do like with some gore and some titillation, and so they wiggle and they dance. So it felt
titillation.
yeah, but it felt like, because again, this movie was a video nasty, but it's toned down considerably. Siskel and Ebert both liked this movie. They both gave this movie.
They did.
Yes, they did. They both gave this movie a good review.
I don't believe it.
No, they both gave this movie a good review. So there was Roger Watkins, the porn director, did a movie called Last House on Dead End Street. It was originally called the Cuckoo Clocks from Hell. There was a rumor.
David Hess?
No, that was you're thinking of Last House on the Left. Oh no,
he was on Dead End
He
Street.
did the Ruggero Deodato one. But so Last House on Dead End Street, Roger Watkins directed, and there was an urban legend that when the Manson murders happened, the Mansons had filmed a snuff film, and they somehow, through legend, the idea was that footage wound its way into this Roger Watkins movie. So because the alternate title of that movie was The Funhouse, this movie was punished by the BBFC for that.
I didn't know all that.
Yeah. So it's really fucking interesting. The whole Roger Watkins thing. I fell down that rabbit hole recently. I fell down a whole rabbit hole of what's his face? The Andy Milligan. The whole Flush Pots of 42nd Street stuff and all that. And then I somehow found my way under Roger Watkins, and I was like, oh wow, he did a lot of these porn movies that I remember seeing as a kid, because like we had aunts and uncles who had like porn tapes laying around. And I was like, oh okay, I remember that title, and it was done by him. But yeah, so he did this movie, and then Funhouse got wrapped up in it. But this movie's surprisingly like tame, you know?
That's why I wonder if Tobe Hooper, I mean, again, this is a master at doing horror movies where you weren't showing any gore, but they were extremely graphic, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Salem's Lot. It's got some fucked up stuff, but he wasn't really king of gore, which is kind of shocking. And that's not my issue with some of the scenes. I just feel like you had to take way too much time to get to the murders, because you had to like spend time on Joey, which we just explained all that. But having said all that, I think another reason this movie might have gotten lost in the shuffle of the 80s slasher movies is because the killer in this looks a lot similar to Andrew in Hell Night.
Yeah. I also think he looks like the Great Mutato. You ever see that X-Files episode?
Is that the one where the rednecks bang the mom?
No, that's Home.
Okay.
The
Okay.
postmodern Prometheus, the black and white one they made share at the end.
I probably didn't.
Oh, it's a great episode.
The Robert Patrick years?
No,
or-
this was
okay.
before that.
Okay, because they start getting weird in the
Oh
Robert
yeah.
Patrick years.
But he kind of has
remember
that
that-
same look to him, and I never particularly liked the look of this monster because he does feel a little too rubbery and fake. Where it looks like he's wearing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny because I think the guy who plays the Barker is it Kevin Conroy.
Yeah,
Am I
yep,
getting his name right? He plays the three different.
Which I think
Barkers.
is awesome.
Yeah,
I
think
love
that guy's
that.
great.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think it's like a Scream Factory DVD I got. Maybe came out like 10, 15 years ago, whatever. When you see the interview with him, he actually looks younger and so much better. You would never know it was the guy
Well, it's
from
like-
the Funhouse.
That's
'cause he
like
looks
Max
like,
von Sydow
Yeah,
and
yeah,
The Exorcist.
'cause
You know.
I took a friend. The Colonial was playing it one afternoon before they had like big time.
Yeah.
In like 2010 or something like that. And I took my friend John to go see it, and he'd never seen it. And when he sees Max von Sydow, he's like, "Oh my God, how old is he?" I'm like, "He was only 40." And that's a makeup for Dick tribute to
Dick Miller's, the stippling that he did in that is incredible, and that's why like later on when people wanted to cast him.
Well, how I don't understand why he perfected old people makeup in 1973. But yet we've had so many movies in the past 40 years where old people makeup looks terrible. And before Dick Miller died, why didn't anybody call him Dick Miller? Be like, why can't we get this fucking old people makeup?
Well, I mean, yeah. Look at Prometheus.
What do you call the master?
What was this? What guy? What's the fucking?
I have to look at Prometheus.
Well, I know, but in Prometheus, that old man makeup is just so bad.
Yeah, and I think Dick Miller is still alive.
Yeah,
like call Dick Miller. Like,
he's like, what?
Yeah. But I think there was a movie called For the Boys where James Caan and Bette Midler looked ridiculous at the end of the movie. And I'm like, why don't they just...
I was always convinced at the end of A League of Their Own that lady was
I pretend...
was her in old age makeup, but it's not her.
It's not.
I was like,
that was actually,
that was really, really well done, though.
That was actually a smart
move.
You know, they don't have money to make them all look, I'm sure they didn't have the budget to make them all like Dick Miller-y.
Yeah, but I mean, I always just thought this one was a little too... I mean, I like the design. I get what they're doing with the design. It's supposed to be he's the same as the little pickled punk.
But I'm gonna agree with you. Even it's funny because I sound like I'm trashing Funhouse. I really do love.
Oh no,
Funhouse.
I love this movie.
But it does have some issues. I still think it's a really cool, gross, greasy, oily, slimy horror movie. And it's cool.
And it fits well with the idea of what it is. The Funhouse itself. Is a character, but it's like at any moment the people who are the disgusting homeless people and the lady taking a dump in the thing, like they're popping up at you the way you would in the Funhouse. You know?
It's funny because the killer, he's wearing that Frankenstein mask. I think the Frankenstein mask is much scarier.
Oh yeah,
because it's like this fucked up Frankenstein mask. Also, he got a discount because it like didn't, it
he's
didn't.
drooling out of it.
Yeah, it was like a malfunction Frankenstein, and he's drooling like his boogers and snot are coming out of his.
As he's getting, and this whole movie goes awry because of a hand job.
Yeah,
$100 hand job.
I think that's life.
Yo,
I think that's real life.
But I just said, like, if I ever come too fast, I'm strangling her. And she saw the movie. She should have known.
I think I was telling everybody when we left. Sylvia Miles. My favorite non-horror movie is Midnight Cowboy. Although I still think it has horror movie elements.
Yeah.
But Sylvia Miles got nominated for a supporting actress Oscar, and she's only in it for like maybe 10 minutes, but it's a very memorable scene where she's in her underwear, and she's John Voight's trying to, be moved from Texas to New York to try to be this prostitute. 'Cause he had it in his head from what he heard, because there's no internet back then, and you're gonna make all this money from these older women. I
tried it,
and it didn't really work for him. But she's his first customer, and she cons him into paying her, and it's a brilliant scene. It's really funny. This is somebody who's like just no inhibitions. Like she's in her underwear in that one. And it's not like she's gross or anything, but
she's
also,
an older lady, yeah.
Even back then, she was an older lady, and she's in her underwear then and the underwear in this one. I'm like, this woman, I have to give her props.
She found her niche.
Yeah, she has no fear. She doesn't give a fuck.
Wasn't it like remember in Mallrats, the other Chrissy from Three's Company was the topless fortune teller?
Priscilla
and
Barnes.
yeah, Priscilla Barnes was in that. And then she was also topless in Devil's Rejects.
That's right.
Yeah. Which,
that's right. It's like similar. Well, not so much.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say similar, but yeah.
But that whole kind of thing, yeah. No, oh no. Every time. So I've always been a fan of this movie. Just the creepiness of the mechanical fucking things.
The opening credits are amazing.
Yeah.
And also, there's that scene. I don't know what you guys thought of it, but
where they're in. I told them they were talk.
The two lead girls in a bathroom, and this like witch comes into the restroom, and she like I always get creeped out by people who walk real fast or charge the screen like the sister in Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody comes charging at somebody in a movie, it freaks me out. And I remember that scene always. Out of all the scenes in that movie, that really creeps me out the most because she gets up in her face.
So, have you ever been to a state fair?
Yes.
So this is
Not
what I
only
want.
Dave and I were state fair, and we saw maybe the last freak show.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you about. So I'm sure I don't know if they probably don't do this stuff anymore.
They shouldn't.
But
Shouldn't.
I have a memory burned into my. There's two things I was talking about to somebody recently, where the episode of Punky Brewster where they go into a cave and she fights like the Manitou, like. Remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And like there's like a skeleton who pops down.
Wow.
That image is so burned into my cortex. But also when I was a kid, the New Jersey State Fair or whatever it was called, it must have been 1987, 1988, whatever. I was either 6 or 7 years old. I remember we won a game and they gave me a roach clip.
Oh shit!
And I asked with a feather, and I asked, like, my mom said it was a roach clip, and I didn't, and I'm young, I'm like, what does it have to do with like bugs? And then like my grandfather is a sergeant of police at the time. My aunt's like, that's for smoking drugs, and my grandfather was like, excuse me. And then there was also like those mirrors that would have like things on them, and mine said, back off, man, I'm a scientist, and it was a Ghostbusters one. But I remember those. But there was a one thing that will stick with me forever because I think it was the first time I was ever like in public and felt so uncomfortable. Was they had like the sideshow things, and it was the girl who was missing her head, and it was like you don't see it, but it's like the outside of it has like the you know, the drawing of what it is, and then it has this little TV, and I'll never forget this. It was like she got decapitated in a car accident, and years later, Fred Olin Ray, he used to own all this sideshow shit, and he showed me how they did the illusion. But for the longest time, I just remember standing there like frozen, staring at that, like completely uncomfortable by the general idea of that. And I just remember, like, to this day, that's still something that I can remember, like what the beer around us smelled like and stuff, just from that idea of that girl with like the tubes going down to her neck. And I was just, I don't know, it's now you look at it, it's so fucking fake and stupid, but at that point when I was 7, it fucking like I didn't sleep that night. Like,
well, Dave and I, we went to a state fair back in the late 90s, and unfortunately we saw a real freak. And I hate to say freak because that's what she was labeled. That's what she was there for. But this is like a human being who was born in a really horrific situation. And she ended up being on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
But it was this tiny woman who had no, like, legs or arms. She was really tiny. She was like a baby almost. You know? And she could play stuff on Howard Stern with her tongue on.
Yeah.
But we went into this. We paid for the freak show. She was the only one there. And we walked past, and she's in this kind of like little room. Like we walked past like a cage setting. She has a little TV. She's sitting on the floor, and she was staring at us. And she looked so hateful, and I don't blame her. I felt nauseous. Do you remember this?
I remember, well, we got in line, and we're like, what is this? And we saw people walking in, laughing, and they walked out completely silent.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what we did, too.
That was,
Also, we saw a chupacabra there.
Yeah, the chupacabra.
Oh, not chupacabra. What are the giant rodent called?
Oh, because they said there was another display that says a giant rodent, but it was a whatever capybara.
They told us we were seeing the largest rat.
But that whole, I haven't been back to a state fair since. They don't do anything.
They probably don't do that stuff
anymore. We just got the cusp of them never doing it again. But I really wish I'd never.
Well, like, you ever been to the Mutter Museum?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But at least they didn't have like human beings.
No, exactly, and that's like, and because that's what I always liked about they turned P.T. Barnum into Hugh Jackman, and he was sexy, and it's like this was a horrible slaver, like.
Well, I remember when I went, it's been decades, because I went there back when it was becoming
Yeah.
a thing twice, and I haven't been there a long time. I remember the wall of sexually transmitted diseases.
Jesus.
I got nauseous, and I got nauseous, and
I treat that shit like
usually
I treat that shit like Pokemon. I'm collecting them all. I got a weeping willow down here.
usually I don't get nauseous, but those were like two of the few occasions
Oh, yeah.
in my life where I was like, because there was like they had pictures, graphic pictures of syphilis.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go vomit.
I
on
used
the
to have,
sidewalk now.
A pillow
Mhm.
that was a dude with giant testicles, and it was a real dude. It was like an Indian dude, and somebody gave me that as a gift, and I used to have it in my old apartment, and I just remember people being like,
I remember, I think when I was moving, we were moving into our house. I was
Mhm.
looking for all these old things, and I found this. There was when I worked at Suncoast
yeah,
video years ago. I worked with a gay guy named Ed,
mhm.
who well, he was a lot nicer, a lot friendlier than the other Ed. But we bought for laughs and giggles.
Yeah.
This is back when magazines were still a thing, and they had Playgirl. Eric Roberts was on the
Magazines.
magazine. Eric Roberts was on the cover of Playgirl. And I know he's not going to be naked.
Yeah.
There's no way like a real celebrity's going to be
Mhm.
naked. It's not the same as women are usually desperate in these magazines where men don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, but my friend Ed, who was gay, he was still holding out hope Eric Roberts was going to be naked. He was not. But there was some guy from some island somewhere in the magazine, I still have it somewhere in storage, who had two penises. Like his penis literally split into two, and he had two penises.
That'd be awesome.
But they weren't separate. They were like Siamese.
Yeah, no, it would be like Scylla and Charybdis in the Odyssey. I knew a guy who had two buttholes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was he gay? I hope he was gay.
No, he wasn't. He was
No,
straight. He's married to a girl who used to
What's the
be on the
point?
show with
What
me.
a waste.
That's what I said.
Well, we don't know it's going to waste.
That's very true. We don't know that. Good ad lib, Heather.
I'm never gonna live it down.
But yeah, so that was the freak show thing. It's the only time I've ever seen anything like that. But then years later, there was a show on A&E, and the dude who was the sword swallower on that show with like freak show people. We knew him because he used to work with Dick Chibbles. Dick Chibbles is a
No,
porn
there's no way
director
it's
and
a
producer, and he shot something for me for a midnight show, and that guy was in it. And yeah, he was a sword swallower, and if I was a gay porn star, that's fucking. That's like if I was a prostitute, I'd get my teeth removed because that's just good business sense, you know. I'm just saying.
Invest in your future, man.
Now, because I'm drunk,
Toby
I know
Hooper.
we talked about the cast inside the theater.
Yeah.
We talked about them outside of the theater. We
We didn't talk about them
Okay.
yet on here.
So Elizabeth Barrage, and you know something that's interesting about this movie? The lead girl shows her tits. The good girl
Twice.
shows her tits twice. But the hot blonde party girl, usually is the one who shows her tits and dies, didn't show her
Well,
tits.
she was supposed to. She was supposed to
What
have.
happened there?
So she didn't want to do the nudity.
Largo. I love this name, Largo Woodruff.
That's a cool name. Yeah.
And
But
she's
yeah,
a beautiful girl.
Yeah, and the other one,
Elizabeth Barrage.
Elizabeth Barrage. She's
Barrage.
Barrage. She's very innocent looking. So it is interesting that she, because especially at that time, the virginal
Yeah, it was
final
a flip,
girl.
Like they flipped it around.
Yeah, her and Bruce Jenner.
Well, I've seen. We'll get to him. I've seen Largo Woodruff in an after-school special. She was really good, and she was. I just think she's gorgeous. I don't know what happened to her. She disappeared. Elizabeth Barrage went on to play in Amadeus.
Yeah,
The
she was in
movie,
Amadeus,
She
yep.
was the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then
She's got this very, I like her look. She's got this very innocent look, and she's very understated in the movie too, where like even when she's just doing those like terrified looks, because at no point in the movie is she overplaying it, you can accept at that point that like she's just kind of frozen in the moment, and she just kind of survives by default.
This is true.
You know?
And Cooper Huckabee plays the lead, the Elizabeth Barrage's boyfriend. Very good looking dude. I'm a huge Urban Cowboy fan. I've seen the movie like 95 times, and he's John Travolta's friend in that movie, so I know him from that. Deborah
Winger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Miles Chapin plays the annoying guy with the glasses.
Stole the money.
Yeah, he fucked everything up for everybody, so I don't care about him.
He made all the bad decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah. So fuck him. But did you ever also see Toby Hooper shot a trailer for this that wasn't from the movie? It was actually like a promotional trailer where it's Elizabeth Barrage, I believe, and Cooper Huckabee running around, and it's not really the haunted house that's in this, but like just some shit they made for a teaser trailer. And I used
to have that on 35 millimeter. I think.
Did you really?
Yeah. There was a couple of those.
What did you do with that?
It's probably in a box still somewhere.
Well, find that shit.
Yeah, because there was a lot of. I bought a bunch of the like trailers that were before the movie was shot. Like there's a American Werewolf one where it's just following the creek and then the wolf paw goes down into the thing, and that's the whole.
That?
I have that. Yeah.
Why don't you dig it out and get some money off of that?
Because nobody does anything with 35 millimeter anymore.
Well, isn't it?
I also have a really cool.
Stuff
they could, yeah. Let's see what they have on it. Because I found weird shit. Like I found like Chatterbox, the talking vagina movie with Rip Torn. But yeah, there's like, and then I have this really cool. It's huge. It's a Godfather 3 one that was during the making of Godfather 3. Like they hadn't even finished the movie yet, and they just shot this whole thing. Like we're on location with Francis Ford Coppola and his terrible acting daughter. You know. But yeah, I used to have.
What they call that, Coda?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was like a mediocre film in the theater, and then I watched the director's film. It's still mediocre. Yeah. It ain't no.
It's hard to after those first two movies, you know.
It's got Andy Garcia is amazing.
I love how he dies.
Yes,
I think that's a perfect, you know.
I do, yeah. Al Pacino's great, Andy Garcia, and there's a cool scene where they're eating dinner in the helicopter.
Yeah,
but it's in general, it's.
Yeah, not the best. Not the best. That's nothing to do with this movie.
It kills me when they try to promote a director's cut. It's like, this is really the way, but it still sucks.
Yeah. It's like, how many different versions of Blade Runner are we going to get?
Oh my
you
God,
know?
100.
100 different ones. And then, well, because I paid to see the Apocalypse Now, like all the different versions of that. I think the original, the theatrical version of that's perfect. Don't touch it.
Most people say that. But don't you think it makes it more confusing when you keep overwhelming people? Like, once in a while, I understand, like, a Little Shop of Horrors, we saw.
I love the ending they cut of that.
The Colonial did the director's cut, and I think this ending makes more sense once in a while, but in general, they release, like, here's the 15th director's cut. And it just ruins the movie.
Aliens,
I don't need like the movie.
I don't need all the extra. I love Aliens. I don't need all the extra stuff for their daughter.
Well, I thank you, Dave and I just had this conversation tonight because I said, to be honest with you, the Ripley story with her daughter and Aliens makes me dislike Ripley.
Yeah.
Why would you leave if you're a mom? Why are you leaving your? Sorry, but why are you leaving your kid for 2 years?
Just giving the breadcrumbs, giving the breadcrumbs makes the Newt story work better.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's just one of those things like, you know, the Donnie Darko director's cut fucking ruins the entire movie.
Yeah.
You know? There is no director's cut of Funhouse. But you know, this is one that I could see somebody remaking this. You know?
Well, I thought this would have been great for Rob Zombie to remake, but unfortunately he had to like taint all of our other movies.
Well, because you look at something like the Dr. Satan ride in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't mind his original films, but then when he was in Halloween, I'm like, you're not the guy to do Halloween. He definitely was not.
No, he should have done Texas Chainsaw.
No.
But I mean,
he's not even good enough for that. But he
should have done Madman Mars then.
No, he should have done Funhouse. Because his family, they were carnies. This would have been his calling. He just wasn't quite, you know, subtle enough for the quiet horror of Halloween. He wasn't subtle enough for that.
But there's just a lot of really cool, lighting and imagery in this little things like when the Barker has the gun up and the gun is in the foreground. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then there's those same exact types of shots are repeated in Poltergeist as well. The same exact shots are repeated in.
Yeah, New York pointed out the great crane shots. With the, they were good.
And this couldn't have been a very big. They shot it in Miami. It couldn't have been a very big, a big budget. But like even those crane shots, just the way they were able to kind of pull back and then it become the almost the eye of God almost. It's looking over everything and you're watching the people kind of funnel out. A lot of those really cool shots. I was like, oh wow, there's. It wasn't like Curtains or like a lot of those slasher movies that were being made at the time. There was actually like thought that went into this one.
Some people might disagree with Curtains as far as the ice skating scene, which they're redoing. That's a very
Black Mask 2 has the shot that looks like Curtains. So,
but with Tobe Hooper, it's just sad his career, I thought, got horribly derailed. Because I was saying to Nude, I wish somebody had given him like $100 million to make this fucking out. Because Salem's Lot was like a small screen epic, and you saw how great it was. Like, somebody like giving him like $100 million, and before the whole Poltergeist thing, what could he have done? But after Poltergeist, I feel like I killed something inside of him.
Because at one point, like he was attached to like Spider-Man, he was attached to like Godzilla.
There would have been some great shit. Yeah. I just feel like Steven Spielberg ruined him. And I was gonna say something else and I forgot.
Well, he didn't kill anybody with a helicopter, so Spielberg should have been like. Alex, what did you think?
I loved it. I think that I wonder.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
I wonder if Rob Zombie got some of his inspiration from this film, because a lot of the things I'm looking at look picture for picture.
I think everything Rob Zombie's done.
There was also
Well, I think he said that Texas Chainsaw was like his favorite horror movie of all time. And again, where do you go after? It's like fucking Orson Welles. Where do you go after you make Citizen Kane? Where do you go after you make the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You know. And as much as I love Chainsaw 2 and even like Invaders from Mars and stuff like that, 'cause but it's just like. You'll never get that high again, and people are always going to want a specific type of film from you, but you want to make other types of movies. Like Spielberg can go and make, he can make Raiders of the Lost Ark, but then he can go and make, fucking.
But he hit his like.
Oh yeah.
After Catch Me If You Can's the last good Spielberg movie, and then like.
Was Minority Report after that or before that?
I think it was
before that. I liked Minority Report.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I just remember seeing Ready Player One.
I hated that movie.
Yeah, it was fucking
That should have been made by Edgar Wright.
Yeah, that would have made sense. The book was a lot of fun, and when I watched this movie, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And just what he did to like, I don't think he directed. Did he direct AI?
Yes. But it was Kubrick's concept.
And he fucking destroyed. Like he just wants to destroy everything. Kubrick did, because the ending of that was so cheesy.
Yeah.
And then the fact in the Ready Player One when he brings him into The Shining, I'm like, Stanley Kubrick. From all I know about him, would have hated that.
Yeah.
And Steven Spielberg acts like he's my friend. I'm like. He would fucking hate you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Because I thought they did a much better. Like a movie I didn't like when I first saw it was Dr. Sleep, and then Dr. Sleep really grew on me.
I love Dr. Sleep, but I can never watch it again because that's one scene with the kid.
Yeah.
I can never. I thought it was really well done, but I just remember thinking that scene with the kid. Has anybody seen Dr. Sleep?
I actually.
There's a really horrific.
It would have been a really good X-Men movie.
Yeah. And I thought the scene with the kid was only the last few seconds, but goes on way too long.
Yeah.
I'm like, why haven't they cut this scene? This is fucked.
Especially because that kid was like he's an Academy Award nominated actor at that point. That's a hard scene, but I really like that girl because she's in
great.
Dune.
Yeah, she was great.
Was it Maggie the Hat or something like that?
Yes.
But that was a movie when
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't really like this. And then I watched it again after. I was like, oh wow, I really like, because I never read the book. So and I was like, wow, it grew on me a lot more. It's not the guy from Wings, the version of The Shining with that fucking kid that to this day I just want to punch that fucking kid in the mouth. You ever see the TV movie version of The Shining?
Oh god, yes.
If you ever read the book The Shining, I'm like, there's no way they could, because in the book the topiaries are like trying to like attack you. I'm like, in 1980 those special effects were horrible.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Oh, it was
Stanley
standing
Kubrick
there
was like,
at
we're just
digital
gonna
effects, what are you
do
talking
my
about?
own thing.
But then
I actually liked the movie The Shining better
than the book. Yeah, me too. But then they did it in the 1997 or whatever, and it had like Langoliers level special
with Steven
effects,
Weber,
and the acting was just fucking terrible. And they
and
show.
wasn't it the Mario Van Peebles dad? Or
Oh yeah, Melvin Van Peebles,
yes.
the director of Sweetback's Badass song. Which did you ever see did you ever see Badass when Mario Van Peebles played Melvin Van Peebles?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
My God, I want to see
Because
it.
so going back to John Landis. John Landis was shooting Schlock at the same time that Melvin Van Peebles was shooting Sweetbacks. They were sharing gear, and at the time they were cracking down on the unions and stuff like that. So they hired two crackheads to always be on set to start fucking if the union showed up, because they'd say, "Oh, we're making a porno movie," and they would leave them alone. So they just had two crackheads just there to start fucking, and they would just turn the cameras on.
That's fantastic.
Wait, we didn't. There's a cast member we did not talk about. William Finley.
Uh-huh.
Did we talk about him?
No.
Great character actor. He freaked me out. I saw Sisters in like the $1 Million movie when I was a kid. Remember?
No one who watches this.
Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
All right, no,
but
all right.
yeah.
But it was like the late night movie, and that was the intro. And they did Sisters. Sisters fucked me up.
Yeah.
And it's a great movie.
Margot Kidder.
I'm a huge Margot Kidder fan. Jennifer Salt, whose father wrote the screenplay of Midnight Cowboy, and she was a screenwriter as well.
Yeah.
And
I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan.
no, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I'm kind of sad like his career petered out.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I
just
think it's
feel-
because the whole like they were like, you're a sexist because of the whole femme fatale
Whatever,
thing, and then you look at like not Body Double, it was Body Double. They're shooting a porno movie that just so happens to turn into a
Yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood
Yeah.
music video, Dressed to Kill,
Mm-hmm.
because Michael Caine is a trans murderer. You know,
Well, this is what annoys me is whenever anybody's in a group where they're like, I get annoyed because to me we're all individuals.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, transgender, gay. You know.
Yeah.
Some of us are fucked
Unless
up.
you're
It
in-
doesn't matter. So this was a character who was fucked up.
Yeah.
I've actually seen drag queens dress as Bobby.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, you know, and I think you should celebrate Bobby. You know,
I
it's like-
was at a
'cause
show
It's camp. It's supposed to be camp.
when I was
Have
in
a fucking good time.
when
with
I
it.
lived in Tucson. My ex-girlfriend's dad owned a gay bar, and we hosted. It was Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Lust in the Dust, and
That was
yeah,
Divine's attempt at,
and
mainstream, right?
yeah, and the De Palma movie, and one of the drag performers came dressed as Bobby
Nice.
and brought the phone and all that kind of
Nice.
stuff, and I was like, oh, I should have dressed as Angie Dickinson.
And I've also seen the Nancy Allen
Yeah.
drag queens with the purple jacket.
Well, and then
there.
the woman when Bobby kills the nurse at the end, the nurse is Messalina from Caligula from the Guccione, the porn scenes that he added, and she sued Guccione because they ruined her career, and she won $4.75. But they were like the two big things that she did for like ruining her. Because remember Paz Vega as well did that movie The Nurse 3D, and because they said they over sexualized her, it ruined her career.
Why is it's always the people who? Well, I don't want to say always, but a lot of these people with these lawsuits, like you really weren't going to have a career. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just you get to show your titties in some movies and stuff like that. Good for you, man. Like Caligula's gonna even Messalina, which is the Caligula sequel. Technically, they shot it on the same sets.
People were like, "Oh, you know, Bobby's so fun." I'm like, I was cheering for Bobby
Yeah.
because I thought Bobby was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what your fucking issue is.
But Finley was also in, he's in this in a one scene as the magician, which I think is a great scene. But also, I personally, one of my favorite movies of all time is Phantom of the Paradise, and he plays Winslow in that movie, and I just think he's incredible in that. But no, he just died a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And sometimes when I was really, really young, I'd mix him up with Anthony James, who played the creepy hearse driver in. And then it took me a few years to realize they weren't the same person.
That's
But
another
they both
movie.
fucked me up equally.
Yeah, that's another movie I went back and watched recently. Was
I
Burnt
love that,
Offerings.
man.
Yeah,
And they showed it at the Colonial, and it makes a. That's one on a big screen. Makes them. I mean, it's a great
same thing with The
movie,
Changeling.
but
I
it
saw them as a double feature.
Yeah, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Especially the end scene where like the trees are attacking the car and they kill that kid.
Karen Black,
you know.
man.
Yeah.
You know, because also because she was in Invaders from Mars.
And Lee Montgomery was
Yep.
a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also in like the creepiest thing. There was a TV movie called Dead at Night from the late 70s. Dan Curtis did it. And Richard Matheson wrote the stories. But there was one called Bobby that was like one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen. Lee Montgomery from Burn Offering.
I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
Oh, we're gonna watch. You gotta watch it. You're gonna. I'm gonna.
Because we went back down this like road of like creepy ass TV movies, like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Dave, that one really.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. You know, I don't know. There's just a bunch of those in the 70s and the 80s. That obviously.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Was,
oh my god.
Yeah, and then obviously
Salem's
Lot as well is another one of those that
Salem's Lot. Yeah, that fucked me. The book and the movie, and they're different because he had to cut stuff for them, but they were both equally horrifying and great.
And there was a time when you could do stuff like even you look at like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow because the Cinema Snob just did a review of it, and I remember watching that as a kid and being like, "What the fuck?" Like,
well, there was a time, and I don't know if it flies anymore because I'm gonna sound old, but like with Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, somebody's getting attacked, little girl. You hear the screams
and the dog,
and you don't see it, but that just messes you up more than what you would have seen.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, even though I love gore...
We were talking about the fucking... I never saw the headless girl, but it's stuck with me to this point, you know?
I just feel like... Don't get me wrong, I love gore.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of those just psychological thrills people don't get into anymore. Like, I want to see something.
And there's a lot of... But again...
But you don't, like, feel anything.
You go into, you know, again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Into this movie, too. There's a lot of things you can do with just the idea that something is there. Because you have the one point when you have the mannequins, then the Barker moves, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. You know, it's like little things like that are really, really cool. I've always been slightly obsessed with dark rides, though. I've always been obsessed with the fire at Great Adventure in 1986.
Oh my god, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, 84.
84.
But nobody remembers I have so many fucking newspaper clippings on that I've saved, and then there's a documentary about it on YouTube.
And when I lived down the Jersey Shore, like, I knew all the people who...
Well, for those who don't know,
go ahead.
In 1984, the amusement park Great Adventure had this really creepy haunted house that was like 8 trailers or something like that linked together. And I remember my grandmother, I was living with my grandmom at the time, and her boyfriend's daughter was my age. And we went to Great Adventure several times, but I wouldn't, believe it or not, even though I was a huge horror fan, I would not go in the haunted house. I just didn't like it. And which is unusual for me. So they're like, we're going to go in, and will you be okay here? I'm 8 years old. Because technically, 8-year-old.
Yeah. We learned from the movie tonight that little kids are just left to their own devices.
So they'd go in, and I'm like, I ain't going in there. And then when that fire happened, it was so weird. It was just because, in 1984, it was like a slower day because I think it happened in like May, and it was like
because there was a school was still in.
And you know, and like 8 people were going through there on like a weeknight, and because it was a bunch of trailers, there was a school that had gone in, and some kid, according to witnesses, this person's never been, they think they know who it was, but unfortunately he never got arrested.
There's a really cool documentary you can find on YouTube.
I think it's called Doorway to Hell.
Yes, Doorway to Hell. Yep.
Yeah, you've seen that too?
Yep.
And so this teenager, he's in a quiet riot shirt, great taste in music, despite his homicidal tendencies. He lit a lighter in the funhouse for like a joke.
And the asbestos caught fire.
Yeah, the asbestos, and they didn't have they're supposed to be like safety access.
It was zoned for seasonal.
But all the doors they were supposed to get out of were like chained up.
Just like the funhouse in the movie we just watched.
Like
exactly.
It all comes together.
So this poor girl, when there was like 7 other people, they all died. She was getting ready to die of smoke inhalation. She claimed somebody carried her out. But to this day, there's never been anybody that they think she crawled out and just didn't realize it because she was delirious. But to this day,
the fire department thought that they thought the dead bodies were mannequins.
Yeah, because Great Adventure, even though this happened and 8 people or 7 or 8 people died, they opened the amusement park the next day. Yeah, which I'm like, can you take a fucking day off for decency, you slime?
Because there was the ghost train in Australia that had the same thing where the fire happened and it like killed all these people who were in there on the holiday weekend. I've always been slightly fascinated. I was in Wildwood when Dracula's castle burned down.
Oh shit.
So we remember seeing it from our window.
Oh my god.
Because that was I loved that place when I was a kid. We used to go the boat ride and the walkthrough, and I was never scared of it. I was always obsessed with going through it, and I remember all these little pieces. So my friend Eric Prince, Tony DeBartolus, who built all my monsters for Amityville Pool Toy Massacre, the guy who taught him is Eric Prince. He owns a ton of the pieces that didn't burn in his shop. So he has the coat of armor and all this kind of stuff. He has all these really cool relics from, and it's just cool to see them. And because I have so many memories of that place when I was a kid and going there and like challenging my cousins to like go through and stuff like that. Never wanted to see my cousins or sister naked like the kid in this movie. Just watching his sister naked.
Thank God.
It was weird. It reminds me, you ever see Elves?
Yes. But before we get there,
okay.
can I go back Great Adventure?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So
you guys can chime in at any time.
I don't have to know about Great Adventure.
Yeah.
So the next day, the amusement park is still open, even though it's still to this day the greatest. I shouldn't say greatest, but the most fatalities in an amusement park
in America.
Accident.
Yeah.
And so the fire department got there. They couldn't tell the difference between the haunted house mannequins and the bodies. They had to really sift through, which is horrific. And then the next day, the place is still open. So some of these people's families are trying to come get these kids, and they're like, the amusement park people are like, well, we got to pay for a ticket. They don't understand. Like, this is how. And then Great Adventure kind of got away with it because they had better lawyers.
Yeah.
And it's really shitty.
Yeah.
And this poor woman who survived, she's still alive to this day. So this guy did the documentary, located her. I don't know how the fuck he found her.
Yeah.
But, and also, something on a little trivial thing to note was the band, because Great Adventure always had bands playing. Golden Earring, who sang Radar Love. They were there in the Twilight Zone. They were playing when that shit happened.
When we were there, it was DC Talk, the Christian rock group.
Okay, I'd rather have Golden Earring.
Yeah, right? I remember being, because I was 3 when that happened, but I remember my aunt told me about it and tried to scare me when I was a little kid. So it was another one of those things that would just stick in my mind. I never saw the place until I got older and like the internet was a thing.
Oh my God, you gotta see my newspaper clippings. They have like the burnt down statue. Like and they look so creepy. And I'm like, why hasn't this ever been the inspiration for horror?
That's what can you imagine if you did, because this is an idea I've had for years, if you did Funhouse meets Chopping Mall.
Yes.
There was a fire, everyone died, the new owners built a new Funhouse on that spot, which is using that as the basis of it because they're pieces of shit. Yeah. And then the ghosts get in the machines. Like, that would be fucking cool, right? And that's for years. I was like, oh, let's make a movie called, like, Hellhole or something and base it on that. Because I was just rewriting Satan's Slumber Party, and I was using Funhouse as a kind of tool, because it's going to take place in a dark ride and stuff like that. And then, back in the day, I helped James Rolfe rewrite Gnome Cave, because I grew up loving dark rides, like Knoebels and all that kind of stuff. Every time we go somewhere and they have a dark ride, I'm obsessed with going in them.
Dorney Park had the best dark ride ever. It was called Journey to the Center of the Earth in the late 70s, early 80s. I think it closed down like 86 or something because of the mold. Yeah. But it was this flume ride, but you had to basically it was the Funhouse but a water ride. So you go through in a flume and there'd be like giant tarantulas, people getting tortured, pirates, and then it would go up a hill. And then go down a hill and you'd splash into water. But and there's a video on YouTube. Look up Journey to the Center of the Earth on Dorney Park on YouTube.
Yeah, because Dante's Inferno was in Wildwood and the facade is still there. But there was a lot of those, I
think Brigantine Castle burned down, right?
Brigantine Castle burned down in the 70s.
I never got to go there, but those commercials used to scare the shit out of me.
Steve Mezzo, who's been on the channel before, he's been in a bunch of my stuff. He was a fright actor there in the 70s. Nice. In the early 80s, when he was an Adonis, and he dated Aja Akira. The porn star. Oh, shit. And when I found that, because now he's like a big fat guy, and when I found that out, I used to work overnights at the hotel, and no one was awake. When I commented on something on his Facebook, she commented under, I was like, that's Aja Akira. And then I find out that the two of them dated in North Jersey in high school, and I didn't know how to process that information, knowing what he looks like now, and I was like, somebody needs to wake up and talk to me about this.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yes, please. But yeah, that was just one of those things that broke my. I had the blue screen of death you know. But no, I've always
I
been a
was
big dark ride guy.
I'm sorry, I was laughing because Dave looks like that kid. Remember the Amityville horror photo with the
Oh, his kid sticking his head
the
out.
Warrens in the house, you know, when they do the seance in 1976, and he's that kid who's in the hall. Remember that famous picture, that ghost
I
kid
made
in
that
the
as
hallway
the
with
when
glasses? That's what Dave looks like.
Metz
right
and I
now.
did the Amityville horror because Metz had never seen the movie, and I made that the thumbnail of that video when we
Yes.
watched it.
That picture, and sure, I've heard people say, "Oh, that was actually a guy who was investigating."
Yeah.
I don't know. All
It's
I know,
still creepy as shit.
All I know is that when it's 3 a.m. and I'm on an edible, and
Do you-
that comes up. On
Do you
my feed,
remember
I'm terrified.
when Lana used to be my assistant at the Wayne, we used to talk about like 70s like mysterious creatures and chariots of the gods and stuff like that. And then both of us would be left, one or the other would be left there closing and be like, fuck, now I can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah. That theater sent me into early menopause because it was scary.
Yeah.
There was this giant screen that would have like little like movie, like the digital movie posters, and there was one, it was a terrible remake of Poltergeist, but it had that giant clown.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to close at the end of the night, it's just me, and it's dark in there, and that fucking clown is on the screen, giant ass like jumbotron.
Ours broke and it just kept being Paul Blart 2.
Yeah,
So
see,
he'd go by.
I would take that over that clown. And I'm burnt out on clowns.
Yeah.
Usually I'm burnt out on clowns, but it doesn't matter when it's midnight and you're in a fucking theater by yourself.
That's
closing,
creepy
and
as hell.
Everything's dark and you're trying to get out.
I was trapped there. I remember I sent you home. I was trapped there in that snowstorm for 4 days by myself.
And I said that Newt just doesn't see the big picture. I'm like, Newt, it's going to storm. I think he's like, I'll be fine. I got hot dogs. Those horrible. What brand were those?
Eisenberg, but I made it Heisenberg. And I made
Okay.
them, I replaced the guy's head with the drawing of Walter White.
I think that those hot dogs were made by the family from the Texas Chainsaw
Probably.
Massacre. They were the most disgusting, and I love a hot dog, but they were the most disgusting hot dogs.
Yeah.
So these were Newt's food options. Popcorn that had been like 4 or 5 days old, because, you know, we'd take old pop. That rumor's true. We take old popcorn and reuse it. The
Some
nasty,
theaters do.
and then the nasty hot dogs,
Mhm.
and then the bland nachos and chips, and then the candy, and that's all he was living off.
Because that
he got snowed in. I'm like, you should leave now because they're gonna get.
I
snowed.
couldn't because Star Wars.
Because he wanted to watch
Four
The
fucking
Force Awakens.
no, 4 people came to see The Force Awakens, and I said, "Hey, it's supposed to snow. We'll be fine. We walked here." I didn't. I lived an hour
Didn't
away.
you say we're closed? You can't just.
No,
do
we
that?
weren't allowed to. Disney
Greg
would have,
wouldn't let you?
and Greg and Disney would have fucking killed us.
2 of the worst.
But so I got stuck there for 3 days by myself. It was hard. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just the movie selection was terrible. It was that Benghazi
and then
movie.
Michael Bay one. And the funniest thing, can I say, and legally I think we're out of the woods now. 'Cause
Okay.
Remember, Michael Bay sent a letter to the theaters because he made a Benghazi.
Yes.
Movie, which would have been fine on its own. I have no issue with that. That's
Yeah.
something that we should be explored. But he just thinks he's the god of everything. So he sent, even before anybody's seen the movie, he sends this letter. He's like, "This is going to be a very emotional experience. So when the movie's over, just let the he said, don't turn the lights up for a few minutes after the movie ends because people need to decompress." I swear to God, I have a picture of this somewhere on my camera where he's like, everybody has to decompress to come down for this emotional experience.
It's fucking Jim and Pam's old
Can
fiance
you imagine
from The Office.
the fucking audacity to be like, my movie's so good, you're gonna have to leave the lights off. Because I'm saying it's a very emotional
The man who brought us Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Titanic goes Hawaiian.
Legally, I think we're okay to make fun of this.
Oh, we can make fun of
'Cause I
Benghazi
wouldn't
now.
say anything. It's been 10 years I've been holding that in. But the
It
fucking
was
audacity.
that. It was Dirty Grandpa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember The Intern would never go away. The one with Robert
De Niro
and Anne Hathaway, called The Intern. It looked like the most generic fucking movie ever.
We had
and
that.
It just would not leave.
The Big Short. The Big Short would never leave.
The Big Short.
The Martian would never leave.
Yes.
I just could not. The Martin.
We had The Martian. People kept saying, "Come up, buy tickets. I want one for the Martin."
Gina.
It's so stupid they are.
Yeah, well, the more money you have, more money, more problems, as Diddy would say.
But that theater was terrifying.
Yes, it was terrifying. But yeah, so the Fun House. What
yeah.
did-
Oh yeah. By the way,
We've been talking for an hour and 2
You
minutes.
haven't said anything. Get in here.
Oh, I just want to say I think we provide as much filler as Funhouse has had.
Yes.
Yes. Little boy walking around
Joey.
and us talking about Martians and stuff.
Because every Joey, we've known several Joeys who have been like the
My
worst.
brother's a Joey. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You had and we both work with 2 Joeys. I work with you. We both work together at the theater with
That Joey was
He was
just
blonde Frankenstein Joey. I worked with Italian Frankenstein Joey at another job, and now I'm working with Hispanic Joey at another job. And I'm sorry, there's something about the name, and I don't mean to stereotype, but
because like a baby kangaroo is adorable, and then you have these fucking mongoloids.
they're all awful. Like they don't.
Joey the Joey that we had, he was the eyesore glass guy.
He was the best of the 3. Like,
But he looked like the prince puppet from Mr. Rogers came to life and just started screaming when it became self-aware. Like, you know, like it was a nightmare. And he's engaged.
to what?
A girl.
Oh my god.
She looks like she's his caretaker.
Is she old?
No, she's his age.
Okay.
So when I was dating SJ you never worked with SJ, I don't think, but you might have met her. No? Okay. So I was dating SJ. She was one of my employees one point when she was in college, but he asked her to the prom when she was going to college, and we were completely freaked out by him. Because when the theater got shut down by the state because a woman said our toilet paper was too rough, so the State Department came in and...
Must have been after I was
Yeah,
gone.
it's after you were gone because Brandon was there. So I said, let's do a week of just deep cleaning. So she came up and I had her working with me, and she had just come from the gym, so she's wearing like workout clothes. And we walked, remember how you would walk up and Theater 5 was like all the way back in the end? So we would come back and he's standing there staring at her through the window for the projection booth like a lion waiting to get fed. And it was so creepy, but then I was like, all right, well, she and I are going to go. I think I told you about this when we told the people that he was mentally challenged. Yeah.
Well, he kind of was.
We went to the restaurant around the corner, Christopher's, and he wanted to come with us. And I'm just like, so I said to people, like, he's special needs, his birthday. They gave him crayons, they gave him something to write on. They kept coming up and high-fiving him and stuff like that. And as we were leaving, he's like, man, I've never been there before, but everybody in there is so nice. SJ's like, you're a monster. But we were dating last year, and she texted me in the middle of the night, and she's like, look at Joey's Facebook. Engaged. And I was like, and at that moment I was like, okay, at the time I'm dating a hot 27-year-old go-go dancer, but Joey's engaged.
He's got to throw that in.
Well, you know, hey, yeah, you know, hook up with 33-year-olds and 27-year-olds and, you know, Heather.
90-year-olds.
Well, that's, you know, bend her over, walk
Have you
her.
ever hooked up with the Sylvia Miles? Anybody older than you?
No, the one woman who didn't tell me that she was married at the time was the one who looked like Whitney Cummings. And she and I were sleeping together.
But Whitney Cummings looks like a lizard now.
Well, she does now, but I'm talking about like before.
Okay.
And then 18 years passes, we're friendly, and then I'm making my movie last summer, and she's like, you know, my daughter acts. So her daughter's there, and she's like, do you think that she looks like you? And I was like, she was trying to trick me into thinking that was my kid. So when I found out, so I said to her, I was like, oh man, I wish you would have told me because we had sex. And she was like, what? And I was like, I old boyed her.
What's the oldest woman?
40 something.
And what age were you?
Probably my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been all around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was real, you know. Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me?
I like that.
They have the tennis balls on the front of their walker, so she's not going to slip if I bend her over.
I think this was in like the 90s, but Anne Bancroft and Dustin Hoffman are reunited for like an award show in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then they came in and did the banter. He goes, Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me? And she looked at him and she goes, not anymore.
Not anymore, no. But no, I've you know, I've been around, you know.
All right,
It's not squirt,
Alex,
it's not squirt, it's AARP.
Does any more Funhouse thoughts? Everybody come forward with your...
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fun assed out.
All right.
All right. Oh man, I got really weird and silent.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's all right. All right. Well, Funhouse. It's a good movie.
Mhm.
It's spooky season.
It's not like his best movie,
No.
but you know, it's
It's
fucking-
enjoyable.
But it's fun. It's not his fault we had to spend an hour with Joey.
Skip to an hour and 7 to hear a review of the movie.
Yeah. Our review is longer than the movie.
But it's still like really fun. I think it's a fun.
I like it.
time,
I think
yeah.
it's a sleazy
And-
80s
and
movie.
He really just really had a like niche on the white trash.
Mhm.
Wanted
Yeah,
to
but
take a shower.
You
after
look at
watching
like
one of
stuff
his
Wes
movies.
Craven made too. Had that same kind of vibe to it as well. So
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think they're the two. Really, other than that,
The masters
I
of
think
white
Rob
trash.
Zombie tries to tap into that, and he gets a little bit.
Mhm.
I just wish he let somebody else write it.
Yeah, he's got William Forsythe talking about skull fucking and
you can do the visually. I think Rob
Yeah.
Zombie's great, but let somebody else write the fucking movie.
yep. All right, that's it. The Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Pay-
It's nice to see everybody.
Pay to
together.
enter, pray to survive is the
Yes.
tagline
Mhm.
for it.
That's right.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.